Well, look, it's all going to start happening, isn't it? And it's looking like Manchester United are going to sign Viktor Gyokeres. You seen that?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because Amorim turned him into the goal machine that we've seen over the last couple of years, and the recruitment at Lisbon was significant because you bought a player that was sort of under the radar in the UK, did well at Coventry, and then they've turned him into like a phenomenal goal scorer, albeit in the Portuguese league and playing for some might argue is the best side. So can he make that step up?
Is he the guy to change it?
I think if you're backing Amorim, you've got to give him a player who just walks into the team and knows exactly what's going to be asked of him. The problem that Amorim's had at United is that his system hasn't worked. The players don't fit it, and he's buying a number 9 that is an expert in Amorim's system. That doesn't mean that he won't struggle to step up. He won't get anywhere near the room he gets in Portugal. I think that's been widely discussed already. So, but for Amorim, it's like it makes complete sense. He doesn't have to teach him anything. He doesn't have to teach him the role, and he is a glamorous signing that gets people buzzing and Man United fans buzzing. And if they've signed him along with Cunha and potentially Brian Mbeumo, that is a front three that is very exciting. Is it one that wins you a Premier League? Is it one that Man City would have invested in? I don't know, probably not. But
see, that's the thing, isn't it? Maybe this is part of the moment where I have to redefine who Manchester United are. Because if Manchester United are the club that I believe them to be, and I appreciate that I'm probably wrong on this now, because I keep thinking about them. Like, when I was doing like my predictions last season, and it goes Brighton are playing Manchester United, I go, well, Man United will win that. And then the next week it goes, Nottingham Forest playing Man United. I'm like, well, Man United will win that. And regardless of how many times they lose, how many times I've been wrong, how many times we see them put in a woeful performance, I'm conditioned to believe that Man United are wicked. And I always believe that they'll get it right.
You're right. When I was a kid growing up and Man United came to Spurs, I knew.
Beat you.
Yeah. And that disappeared quite quickly after Ferguson left. Like right. I haven't feared Man United. We've beaten 4 times this season.
But you always rate them though, because what I do is I think that when whatever's going on, I think they can win it. Like, who's going to qualify for the Champions League? I go, well, Man United.
I was so confident when Spurs got, it wasn't. It's because it's not the same Man United, right? But
yeah, well, if we're redefining them, and this is where I have to do it, right? If I have to start seeing them in a different light, and losing a European final to you is part of that.
Yeah,
right? It's part of it. Then maybe these are good signings. But for the Manchester United, like, do you know what these kind of signings scream to me? Signing Brentford's best player, signing Viktor Gyokeres, who, yes, he has an excellent goal-scoring record in the Portuguese league, but there's an element of jeopardy around that.
I mean, 97 goals and 102 appearances is nuts wherever you are.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
But if like Brian Mbeumo would feel like a great signing for Tottenham or a great signing for West Ham, it doesn't feel like a great signing for Man United.
Yeah, because of the preconceived idea about what Manchester United are, but what they were, but what they are is an average side with a big stadium and a big reputation. And the thing is, they'll always get, and they've been that for 10 years. Yeah, even when they were finishing the top 4, it wasn't no guarantee. It's just why when Adam said to me, we beat you in the final, I just didn't have any, I didn't believe him. I didn't believe anybody who said that we were going to lose that game. So I think for where they are now, those are 3 excellent signings. I think the 2 players that they brought in for the Premier League, if Mbeumo does go there, people will be looking at Gyokeres as the marquee signing, but those 2 will be better.
But the problem is, it's not even the signing that they wanted, is it? Like they wanted Liam Delap.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be signing Gyokeres.
Same issue with Liam Delap, right? It's not.
He chose the Champions League. He chose Chelsea.
He chose Chelsea. And that was, I think, the right move for him. But it's also not a signing that Man United would have made back in the day, and that's why they have shifted.
The thing is, I feel like some of these signings would be great if accompanied by greatness.
Yeah.
So, like, you sign...
But they've got all that work to do. They have to rebuild that. Yeah. And I'm not sure if it's even possible, mate. Yeah. Because they had Alex Ferguson that delivered it to them. Yeah. If Gyokeres was going into an Alex Ferguson side, you'd go, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this means Rasmus Højlund will leave, doesn't it?
I mean, God willing for Man United fans, yeah. He came out and said that he expects to be playing next season.
For who? Man United?
Yeah.
He's got some front, hasn't he?
What an expensive waste of money.
72
million. You got Xerxes, what's he, 40, 30. And this is the thing, is that it's not that Man United can't spend the money. It's not that they don't have the money, and they have the pull. You've got a player that should be playing in the Champions League in Cunha. Absolutely should be. Brazil's number 10, and he's gone there because of what Manchester United used to be. Of course I'm going to sign for Man United.
Well, the ramifications of this, though, there's always ramifications. So we spoke about Liam Delap signing for Chelsea, which means Gyokeres now goes to Manchester United, it seems. This probably means that Benjamin Sesko is going to go to Arsenal, which when I've spoken to Arsenal fans, when I've spoken to Arsenal fans about what signing they would want up front, you know, if you think that there are 3 top-tier strikers around, Sesko is one, Osimhen is another, Gyokeres is another.
What is that? Is Sesko one? He's scored 13 goals. Brendan Johnson scored more league goals this season than him.
Sesko is one of the potential
22
major strikers around.
Big guy. His leap is fantastic.
Yes.
Maybe he, if you're Arsenal, though, with Champions League money, wanting to win the league, I mean, I'd rather have Liam Delap than Sesko, personally.
Yeah, I know. It does feel quite uninspiring.
They've been linked
for
with him
Arsenal, considering
constantly.
that they've been great in other positions. It's like the one Achilles heel that they've had for basically 2 years.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think of Amorim? Do you think he'll amend his system? Do you think we'll see an element of pragmatism from him?
No, I think he'll be sacked by like February. Yeah, I think he's gone. I just can't see it working. I think 40 years old is such a big job. It's arguably behind Real Madrid the biggest job in football. I just think that he won't be given enough time to get his system in place. That's why the Gyokeres signing gives him the best opportunity, because, like I said, it's a player that walks into his system without having to teach him much. The
other problem that Manchester United have, whenever we talk about transfers, our natural inclination is to talk about players coming in, who you signing. That's what people want to talk about. That's the focus. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
People don't really focus on the revolving door part of a transfer window.
Yeah, that's massive.
Manchester United, there's so many players at that club that are not good enough to be at that club.
Well, you say that. I think the problem is the club not being able to get the most out of these players. Rashford's showed at Aston Villa this season what a good player he is, and it was mooted that the idea of Spurs getting him in January, and I was like, not the one I saw at Man United. It's not. Look, the player looks like he's fallen out of love with football. It weren't. He's fallen out of love with Man United, and what that 6-month loan deal at Villa has convinced football, I think, generally, that there is a player still there.
That's true. And Rashford is an example to prove your point that you're making here, that there are some very good players that aren't playing very well for Manchester United. That's totally true. But there are also some woeful footballers that are on the Manchester United books still. Like Luke Shaw, like Diogo Dalot, like Andre Onana, like Mason Mount, like Casemiro, like...
not Mason Mount. I know you've got beef, but he's not an awful...
Good game for 4 years, though, Flav. Look, Mason Mount at his best. Mason Mount under Tuchel in 2021. I loved him. I thought he's brilliant, a wonderful little footballer. And yeah, absolutely. I loved him. I'm not going to ever pretend that in 2021 he wasn't a fantastic footballer. But where do you draw the line? Like in 2000 and 2005, Lampard was brilliant, but you don't want him starting for Chelsea now, do you? Like, you can't have... We're saying that Mason Mount's a wicked footballer off the back of
£60 million as well?
Yeah, 60. 1 year left on his contract.
Also, the problem is there's an issue in the dressing room for sure, because Rashford didn't want to play for Amorim. And it wasn't Amorim, it was Man United. You got Garnacho and Amorim clashing. You can't have that.
No. All on social media as well. It's so unedifying.
Yeah, he needs to be removed from the football club immediately.
Yeah. Because even if you
Rashford cannot be allowed to get back into that dressing room.
The office of Man United manager needs to be respected more. Like, even if you don't like the occupant, even if you think that the occupant makes a point, you can't just insult the Man United manager.
What has Amorim done in his managerial career, to demand the respect of players that don't want to play there? Because if you go into Conte, either you play for him or you're being bombed out.
Conte goes, shut up.
Yeah.
I won 3 leagues in a row at Juve.
Yeah.
Shut up. I won a league in my first season at Chelsea. And in my second season at Chelsea, when everyone told me I was rubbish, I beat Man United in the FA Cup final. In the Jose Mourinho's Man United. Finished 5th in the league.
Well, I know we're speculating, but is there any chance that Amorim perhaps doesn't command the respect?
Of course there is. Of course there is. His conduct at the club isn't exactly commanding the respect. I mean, he talks himself out of a job all the time. He goes, God, this is the worst job I've ever had. Yeah, this is the worst collection of footballers I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the players are going to hear that and go, what are you doing? It was interesting because there was a question aimed at Visser about whether or not Frank could make the step up to a top 6 club. And he said that he can, but there's no egos in this Brentford dressing room. There's no egos.
Yeah.
And will he be able to cope with players that won't bend to his will? And that's a massive thing. Can Amorim do that? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think he can.